I have spoken about a global, that there is a kind of, how do I call it, a kind of a globalization mafia. There are a bunch of guys in the world who are not elected, who are self-selected, self-appointed, self-networked. They believe that they should decide what are the good, what is good, what is bad, what are norms, what are not, what are rules. And actually, in the last 25, 30 years, I think they've had a huge domination, not just economic domination, but a kind of domination on our thought processes. Now, one of the points I've made about it's a chapter called Reimagining Security, that we think, if I were to ask any of you, okay, what is security? You will say security, oh, it means having the army in the borders. Okay. Security is you must prevent terrorism. Yes, I agree. Security is the police should ensure the cities are safe. Yes, absolutely. But security is also about how your thought processes are influenced, how narratives are set, how facts are presented to you, how your mind is molded without your even knowing it. And a lot of that is done through activities of NGOs, of tech, of
global rankings of all
yes,
kinds.
of rankings. You are made to believe your democracy isn't working. Which is, it's a very, very dangerous and a very Machiavellian.
Now the artificial intelligence is learning on this data, so it actually becomes the default.
So the point, my point is, without a specific reference to any organization, I had laid out that our idea of what is security actually has to expand in a tech world. Your security can be threatened without your leaving your house, because the thought processes, the influences, the narratives, your morale, your sense of what is right and wrong is all influenced by your phone, what you read every day, the pictures you see. So coming back to your question, look, I think some information has been put out there by the Trump administration people. And obviously that is concerning. It would suggest that, there are activities which has a certain objective out here to push a narrative or a viewpoint. I think as a government, we are looking into it, because, such organizations have an obligation to report. And my sense is, the facts will come out. Now, I read saying, so and so dealt with USAID or so and so. Look, it's not a question of did you deal with USAID or not. USAID was allowed, has been here historically. But USAID was allowed here in good faith, to do good faith activities. Now, suggestions are being made out of America that there are activities which are in bad faith. So it surely warrants a look. And if there is something to it, I think the country should know who are the people involved in the bad faith activities. On the data security issue, yes, again, it goes back to that when I said reimagine security. Your security, every time you tap a keyboard, every time you search for something, you have compromised a little bit of your security. Someone out there knows something about you. I can tell you, if you use that phone of yours for 3 months, there are people at that end of the phone who know more about you than you do yourself, because they remember, they can see everything that you have tried to look at. So this is the new world, and we have to have the habits and also the capacities for that. So that is why today, I'll give you an example. When mobile phones came, for our 2G was primarily European. Okay. Our 3G and 4G was very heavily Chinese. So everything we were doing till 5G came was essentially the network, the service providers, the technology was foreign to India. It's only with the 5G stack, at the Prime Minister's insistence, we actually got a set of Indian companies to actually create an Indian 5G stack. Now, telecom is a very basic security sort of requirement. Now, there are different, we see this, if you look at investment, if you look at, one issue we are looking at is chips today. That what happens? You import chips, it's a global trade, people go for where it is the lowest cost. अब सबको पता है कहाँ से आएगा. So what do? You have to, until you build your own chip industry. See that earlier question you asked, why are you importing from China? I would not like to import. But my answer to that is not, I won't import. My answer is, I will make. If you don't make, how do you, get rid of that dependence? So we have launched a semiconductor mission today. Our semiconductor capacities were last looked before most of you were even born. If you looked at SCL Chandigarh, we are dealing with sort of 1970s technology at best. After that, nothing significant has happened for almost 50 years in this country on semiconductors. Our electronic imports are second only to our oil imports. Now, we say on the one hand, we are the 5th largest economy in the world. Don't you people think that given how, in your own lives, look how important it is for you, how much your reliance is today on anything electronic. Should we not be doing that? So I think these are the issues today. And in many cases, I can tell you, look, as a minister, Prime Minister Modi himself has led from the front. The idea we had, it's only in his government that we even had a cyber security coordinator in the National Security Council. So it is a very real problem. What you flagged is very important. But you do not solve a problem with a slogan. You solve a problem by building capacities, by doing the hard work, by creating an alternative which is secure. And that is really today what we are seeking.